Hola, amigas y amigos. Welcome to the MíraLA Podcast. I'm your host, Arianna Lemus. This podcast is by women, for women, and anyone willing to listen to women. Enjoy the show. Hola, amigos. Welcome back to the MíraLA Podcast. Today, we are shooting at the Latinx therapy offices in Burbank. So if you are part of the Latino community and feel more comfortable speaking with a therapist who is a Latino or a Latina, please check out latinxtherapy.com. Isabel Grace is a woman-owned florist business. Aside from making beautiful bouquets for every occasion, she and her team plan events to help you celebrate all of your family celebrations and milestones. From baby showers, birthdays, graduations, and weddings, Isabel Grace is a proud sponsor of the MíraLA Podcast, providing all of our guests their favorite arrangement of flowers. In this episode, I interview Virginie Druout. Virginie is a transformational coach, a film producer, entrepreneur, and single mother. Born in Champagne, France, she started pursuing Hollywood in her early 20s and founded Infinite Inner in 2021. The DreamBuilder program reconnects her clients to their infinite inner power while fostering a better world, increasing peace, wealth, and prosperity. Follow at Infinite Inner to learn more. In this episode, I am interviewing my transformational coach, Virginie Drouot. Hello.
Hi, Arianna. So good to be here. Thank you.
I know. Well, thank you for coming back to the show because we had done this before and we were just kind of talking about in the pre-interview how I've learned so much in this podcasting journey and now we have better audio. So just thank you for being here and supporting me always. You have been such an amazing mentor in my life and I'm eternally grateful for you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me again and anything for you, Arianna. You're beautiful. I love how you grow and the things that you're creating in this world makes already a difference. So thank you for having me in your journey.
Of course. And we got you these beautiful flowers.
Thank you so much. I love them.
Of course. And why don't we give a shout out to our sponsor, Isabel Grace.
Absolutely.
And just tell me a little bit about the reason why you chose these flowers today.
So roses and pink definitely reminds me of my countryside in Champagne. My grandparents used to have a beautiful roses in their garden, and they're just the exact same color. So,
yeah, I think it's just so important, in my female relationships, but for women just to have that reminder to buy yourself flowers and give
100%,
flowers.
100%. I would agree. Yeah. It's such an amazing creation of the universe. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. Actually, when I was in Texas, I was on a morning walk and I saw a poster signage that basically said, children and flowers are the 80% to the answers of life.
Wow. That's powerful.
That is powerful.
Wow, never heard that. Yeah.
And, there's so much we can touch on in your story, but I do, since you brought up France, I think it is a big part of who you are, where you come from. So why don't we start there? Talk to me about childhood and just growing up in France.
Yes. So I was born and raised in Champagne. It's my hometown. It's beautiful. The vineyards, we basically drink champagne and like water over there. So, no, I'm really lucky to be coming from then. It's beautiful. And growing up in the countryside, I always had a longing for big cities. So I'm the first one in my family to have traveled across the Atlantic, across America, even. So I was lucky to brought my parents to New York, to San Francisco, to Los Angeles. So it's kind of beautiful to have the chance to do that. But it was my dream to come to New York first and then to work in Hollywood. That was my my dream.
And that was not only your dream, but you made it happen.
Yes.
And now you're a producer and a production supervisor on commercials, and you were just in New York, just telling me about your experience. So like, what has been working in Hollywood and going after your dream? What was that experience like for you?
So when you're younger, you don't really analyze so much. You just go for what you really want, and you're so connected to your heart and what you want. So to me, there was no brainer. I was going to achieve my dreams no matter what. And I knew my parents were nervous. I was lucky. They were always supportive. My mom was scared for me, but my dad always like, you're going to travel. I know you're going to travel, so I'm going to be there for you. And my mom, of course, was there and enjoying it. But I just knew I wanted more than the countryside. And I grew up with American TV. So it was always fascinating to me to be on screen. I did 7 years of theater also, to be on stage.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, look at you.
I loved every minute of it. And I was thinking about becoming an actor, and then paradigms come in. I'm too short. I'm not skilled enough. I'm not connected. Nobody in my family are, so forget it. So I'm going to go behind the camera. Always loved the storytelling. And I always wanted to work in Hollywood. And funny enough, when I look back, when I first moved in LA, or when my first experience in LA was in 1998, when I did an internship in an American commercial company. And I drove on the 101 going to Hollywood, and it was the exact same frame that I've seen on TV when I was 6 or 7 years old on TV.
That's awesome.
It was pretty, so you're like, is it because I've conditioned myself to go there, or is it really like that vision that you had to go there? So it's really interesting journey.
And you brought up something that I do want to touch base on, paradigms. For the listeners what's a paradigm?
Right, what's a paradigm? Yeah, I've learned about paradigms in 2018 when I was running on something that I was broke. I was unhappy. I was so unhealthy. I get to a point where I drove myself to the urgent care after a production. I was like, that can't be life. So I learned, I was running on like, I have to work so much harder to make it. And you understand that all of that is because you witness what your parents did. And my dad worked. So I was like, oh, this is what I needed to do. But that made me so unhealthy. So when you read about personal development and understand, wow, my paradigm is like a operating system. It's like this old, you don't even know where they're from, your teachers, and then you repeat the same thing, but you're not really happy. You still, I was as broke as my parents were, and trying to make it. I thought I was doing the right things. And when I learned that we could switch, we could replace, we could actually, our brain, we could build new pathways. And by practicing, by changing what we've been doing, our routine, because my routine at the time was not creating the result that I wanted.
Yes.
And I was trying hard. And I thought I was living my dream. I was in Hollywood. I was working. It should have worked out, right? But it didn't. And then you go into personal development and you understand, wow, the other side of the coin. And it's just so beautiful, this world that I can literally be wherever I want to be when I decide to go for it. Right. So that's why I love that.
What I loved so much about what you've taught me is you can update your software. And I think that's very powerful because the paradigm is like, how do I do that? Where do I start? And I think a simple of like treating your brain like our laptop software. Like, Apple has the MacBook has like the new software every year or a couple years or something like that. And I think we also have to take that into consideration. Like, how can I update myself? How can I get to the next level? Because, your first vision or your dream was to come to Hollywood and you did that.
Yeah.
And then you realized, okay, I did that, check. But there's something more that I want. So obviously working in the industry, COVID had a huge impact and still to this day has a huge impact on the industry and the lack of work and just like all the resources of the uncertainty, right? So talk to me about what it was like going through that during COVID and then discovering that you wanted to become this transformational coach to help people find their vision.
Yeah. I mean, you brought a good point, like the COVID. Having worked in the industry for 20 years, I've never questioned, like, is it going to stop? I mean, Hollywood's never, exactly, right? And we went through the 2008 also crash. We put a stop to Los Angeles, and I walked through it, and I had no idea Los Angeles could be empty. Like everybody was really starving on like, where are we going to work? So everybody moved to Atlanta at the time. So it's a very interesting time, but I'm like, oh, okay, well, we're going to pivot and so I went into working into photography, production photography. And then, you find ways. And then I went back to commercial because I did 7 years of features. And then COVID put a halt. Not even like, oh, we're going to move somewhere, like a halt to it. And that was scary. And then how could have, having so much beautiful crew to work with, team members, and we were trying to find a way to support each other through that crazy, unique collective experience. Yeah. And I realized a lot of people were calling me to talk to, and I would always be the optimistic, like, no, let's see the glasses, and you see how people were finding opportunities into the COVID world. And I was trying to find ways to support the community, to find ways. And I realized, wow, I could be a coach, actually. Why not? And I looked into, a friend of mine brought me Mayor Morrissey's work, and I just fell in love with her and her work. 40 years of study on successful people, on analyzing books that have been written early on this century, and we still didn't like perfected the way to be successful and wealthy. There's still struggle. There's still a lot of people wondering. They want to be successful, but they don't know the how, and they don't really understand how do your brain work with that? What's running you? Like you just said, upgrade your operating system. You've been running on old thoughts, and you see it's not working. So the upgrading of your brain and thoughts were a life-changing experience. And the first thing that I tried, which I was so resistant about, was meditation. And I know a lot of my clients are like, oh, really? Meditation, this thing again? It's a guru thing. I was in that paradigm. I'll be like, meditation. I don't even have 5 minutes to brush my teeth. How am I going to find 5 minutes to meditate?
Correct.
And getting sick. Zoe, at the time, my daughter was 12. I couldn't get sick. She only had me. And I have to find something. Virginie, what you're doing is not working. So what about you trying 5 minutes? It's not like we're asking you to, climb Mount Everest and just sit still for 5 minutes and see what happens.
And I think, like, for my experience with meditation, it's not a matter of just meditating, right? Because I think people are like, ugh, like you said, like roll their eyes back. I think meditation allows you to connect with yourself.
100%.
And try to turn off your brain. It's so hard when all you've known is, chaos or like things happening all the time, and like you can't catch a break.
Right.
But you have to make time to have that break, right? Because here we are connecting, but it's so important for ourselves to connect alone in solitude.
Yes. And it's more and more a thing that they teach in school, I believe, like younger are going into meditation. But like you said, it's an amazing tool and really, like I was going to say, weapon to success, but it really is when you take the time to 5 minutes to not only, because you can really turn off your brain, but you can let go. You can just not hold on to thoughts. You can learn to just observe what you're observing. And that's what Mary Mercy is all about, is observe what you're observing. What's in there? What's in your head? And then that takes 5 minutes to reboot your brain, to just give it a break. If you don't turn off your computer at some point, it's going to start making mistakes, and it's going to, that death wheel. And that's why we're on a lot. We're just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But when we step back 5 minutes on sitting still, give your body a break also, and listen to your infinite side. We're infinite being having a human experience. And if we don't connect to that invisible field of energy, we are half complete, and we're trying to chase something that's, it must be out there, it must be out there. But all the answers, when you realize that we have all the answers inside, we're connected, and we don't take the time to connect, we lose on so much.
Yes. And I think also, like, meditation could be the 5 minutes of focusing on your breath, or trying to not have as many thoughts, but it could also just be going a walk, taking a walk around your neighborhood, or, looking at nature. Literally observing the birds, like grounding techniques. Like, okay, I see 5 things, I hear 4 things, I feel 3 things. Like, just allowing yourself some stillness, because like you said, like, we're constantly on the go, things are happening. So you have to make that time for yourself, know? And I think it's important to self-reflect and ask yourself, like, okay, I just had a conversation. How am I feeling? Does this person give me energy? Does this person take energy? Like, that's how you create awareness in yourself, and you start recognizing what's for you and what's not for you.
Everything is created twice, once in the mind and once in the material world. I'm a certified dream builder. I made it my mission to share the beautiful work that Mary Mercy did with the Brave Thinking Institute. I believe in sharing that knowledge will heal our world one dream at a time. The most important thing in this world is imagination. It's so important to be connected to your vision. That vision is key to get new results.
I'm going to be 77. What I got out of Saturday was an opportunity to identify who I am and what I need. And it was priceless. I still feel that there's lots to learn, lots to do.
Wow. Let's do it.
Yes.
I'm really excited about hearing about your dreams and seeing you transform.
I'd love to know, like, from your experience as a coach, and just maybe in your personal experiences, how have you recognized what no longer serves you?
That's a great question. Often we're like, well, or you're, connecting to your intuition. How do you know that serves you and doesn't serve you? Well, what doesn't serve you, it usually feel constrictive. You're like, you have this feeling, but you got to be in tune with it. You got to practice being connected first, because if you're not, you're going to make decision impulsively. You're going to, you're just going to go on the go. And then at the end, you're like, I don't like this. And then frustration. But if you take the time to be connected to your intuition, really understand how your brain works and how your thoughts create results. And that's what we do through the Dream Builder, to really teach you how to connect to that side, which we don't teach in school. Then you can understand more and feel, that gives me life, so that serves my vision. But if you don't have a vision, it's really hard also to know what is good for you or what is not. And I love this video. I can't remember the quote of it, but it's hard to get to a goal that you don't have. if you don't define where you're going, I like in the vision workshop, I talk about the archer. You have a target, you're going to aim, the archer is going to hit the target because he knows where he needs to get the arrow. But if you don't have a target, you're going to shoot him. It's going to be pretty vague. If you have a vague idea of what you're going to go, you're going to have vague results.
Right. You brought up vision workshop. Why don't we talk about our vision workshops that we've been doing together? We said about 5 now together. We just had one yesterday, and we're going to be having one on November 9th. So you guys better come. It's going to be in person in North Hollywood. All those details will be in the show notes. But yeah, why don't we talk about why it was so important for you as a transformational coach to host these vision workshops, to give people an introduction, to help them find their vision?
Exactly. Yeah, you can do so much online, but that connection in person, physical, is just unique. And I'm thriving. My goal is to become, get hired as a speaker more and more and connect people with their dream and their vision. Because the work of Mary Morrissey, also the Brave Institute that I belong to, we know we can change the world one dream at a time. And Mary Morrissey's dream is 1 billion dreams achieved. And I think it's beautiful. I totally relate to that. And we all, as DreamBuilder Coach, gonna have to awaken everyone for their dream, because once you do that, everything changes. Everybody wants the light and wants a positive happiness, a happy world for themselves. So it's, it was important to really connect in person. Zoom is an amazing tool. COVID brought us that. But I think people love going back in person and connect. I mean, you're so great at connecting people.
It's true. I'm just the connector. Like, I love connecting with people, but through my personal journey, I've recognized that it's so important for Arianna to connect with Arianna. Because if I'm not connected to myself, then I'm constantly in this people-pleasing tendency where it's like I'm fulfilling everybody, but then at the end of the day, I'm left feeling unfulfilled.
Right.
So if you have any advice for people who are currently at the moment listening to this podcast that are so inspired and fired up and want to figure out their vision because they're just kind of struggling, how can you help them? Where can they find you? Because obviously you're my coach, and you've helped me tremendously. So I also want to give my listeners that opportunity as well.
Well, thank you. I would say attend one of our workshop and see what's there for you. But I guarantee you're going to love your vision. You're going to love the transformation. And I mean, you're not going to be the same person entering the workshop and exiting the workshop. And I love to see that. And you deserve every minute of it. You deserve to have a happy life and live the life that you really love living. It's life in you. You can't hide it. You can't stop it. It wants to grow, and we're here to help. There's step by step. It's a 12-week program that you've been through twice. And why 12 weeks? Because it's not I can't fix you like this. Right. Your brain is an amazing machine where people have habits, and we got to work together to build new habits, to build new pathways, and so you can create new results finally. But it's a whole process that Mary Morrissey put together, a 12-week, and it's an amazing 12-week. And at the end, I mean, you can say for yourself.
Yeah, and I think also just like the community building, like that 100%. That's really it for me. Like, not only do I get to share my dream, I get to hear everybody else's dream, and it is so inspiring. It makes you feel so good to know that like there's other people that are going after what they want.
Yeah.
And I think that's powerful, and especially for the MíraLA community, it's like more women need to figure out their vision and find a community that's going to help them attain that. And I think it starts with investing in yourself, So I'm very grateful to say that Virginie has allowed a 50% off her 12-week program. So if you are a MíraLA listener, please go to the show notes. Go to goforyourdream.com.
That's right.
And sign up for a 30-minute consultation with her and figure out your dream, because I promise you, choose now, choose today to connect to yourself and connect to your vision, because that is the best thing you could ever do for yourself.
Yeah. I mean, and you're going to breathe 365 days a year, you're going to create results no matter what. So do you want to create results that you love, or do you want to create results more of the same that you're not really sure about?
Right.
And you have the power. We're so blessed with so many different mental faculties and superpowers. I love to call them superpowers, because you can truly accomplish anything you want in this world if you're guided. And everybody has a coach. The biggest, successful people have a coach nearby, and you cannot make it by yourself. I tried. A lot of people try. I was like, no, I get it. I'm going to do it myself. Okay. And I did that for myself, and it was not working. I was still not, it takes a village, right? And it's a beautiful community that you're building. And like you said, we are inspiring each other every time. And also, not only you see their dream, but you see through the struggle, and you're like, oh, I'm not the only one struggling with this particular problem, or whatever it is. You feel supported. You're like, oh, if she did it, I can do it. And then you come to us, to Arianna, we're here to help any way we can to really lit up this world and change it one dream at a time. I love it. One dream at a time. I know it's possible.
It is possible. And, talking about that struggle, why don't we kind of touch base? So, you're a single mother, you raised Zoe, like, all by yourself, and that all alone is a paradigm in itself, to maybe cast men away, or, just have different thoughts, right? Something that I've learned in your program is like everything is created twice. So how have you implemented this like positive, forward-thinking, brave-thinking mentality, and how do you share that with your daughter?
How did she become a brave thinker? I love, there's always so open to whenever she needs help. I'm so blessed that she comes to me and be like, hey, I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling with that. I was like, okay, so let's thinking through what's come up. And so she's very responsive about the DreamBuilder. She's going through it now also, and her breakthroughs are so wonderful. It's I'm blessed. Like, she's my teacher. I've learned so much being a mom, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. So a story that about paradigm, how we broke through one of her paradigm was she loves building computers. And I was like, well, and also you have to have time for your homework, but not only for your game, because she's a video game fanatic. So you have to have time for homework, and I would love for you to get a job, in the weekend. And she's like, well, I don't have time. And I was like, oh, okay, you don't have time. Well, let's play with that. So I know you love, building computers, and imagine tonight, all the pieces of your computer arrive at the same time. What would you do? She's like, oh, well, I would build my computer right away. I'm like, oh, so you will find time to build your computer. And she's like, oh, I see where you're going. So when we're really connecting to something that we love, we find not only time, suddenly we find the money. We find all that we were telling ourselves, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I have to talk to my spouse, or I have to check with my friend if I can, or I have to get back to you whenever. But when you tap into going to a party or buying yourself that impulsive thing, suddenly there's money that you can find. But when it's about investing in yourself, you find all those paradigms, negative paradigms, to stop you from getting out of your comfort zone. And that's when the DreamBuilder and the Brave Thinker is a really great tool and program that you can keep for life.
Right.
Where you replace your paradigm. You're like, oh, I don't have the money. Oh, okay, yeah, money is everywhere. I will find the money. You can come up with solution to invest in yourself and better yourself, because once you invest in yourself, you can duplicate your income, your revenue stream, like to infinity. But if you're asking someone to do it for you, it's never going to happen.
Correct. And I also think it's important to acknowledge that every day is a gift, right? And also allowing yourself to make intentional decisions with every moment, every interaction. You get to reinvent yourself with every new person that you meet. Yeah. Especially, I love meeting strangers because I'm like, this is the new Arianna today. This is the leveled up, updated Arianna, and you don't know me and you don't know my past, and it gives you an opportunity to change who you are for the better, versus having to like share your past and share your story of like what you put up with or what you've accepted in the past. Like, I say no to that. I say acknowledge it, accept your past, and move on from it. Let it go, right? So something that I'm really excited to share with all of you is that our vision workshops in 2025 will be on location, and we're planning future retreats. So why don't we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's really exciting. That was part of my vision in bringing the Dream Builder and traveling with it. So we want to go outside of California also, but internationally. So we're building a workshop, a transformation retreat, probably 5 to 8 days. The first one we want to test will be in France, in Champagne. So it's a good mix on learning how to make champagne also, but also transformative experiences. We're going to go on hike. We're going to go discover my side of the world. And then we're thinking about Peru coming in November 2025. So a lot of things coming up. There's Cuba also, probably 2026. I mean, we have a vision. We're going to Bali in 2027, right?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And I'm so excited to share this with you because I feel like a lot of the time when people hear something, they're like, oh, you shouldn't tell people, what you're doing or your plans. And I think that's such negative thinking, because you get to create your reality. And I think if more people understood that if you say things out loud and you say them to other people, now you have to hold yourself accountable.
Yes.
Now you have to do the thing that you told that person.
It gives you a little fire.
It does. The ideology of like, oh, if you tell somebody like, it's not going to happen, or that's a paradigm.
Yes.
And I think when you understand that you get to dictate how your reality, how the things that you want in your life to happen is on yourself. And I think it goes back to connecting with yourself and connecting with like-minded people, because they're really going to help you create that vision come to life.
100%. You cannot achieve your dream if you surround yourself by people that will not support you, that will tell you you're too positive, you're too this, you're not enough this, be careful, you might. It's not going to happen. And you're going to push through, you're going to get exhausted, but you have a choice, a decision you can make every minute that you breathe of surrounding yourself by the people that are going to support you. Yep. And they're out there.
Yes.
It is for you and connected with yourself. If you tell that infinite side of yourself, that connection to the universe that you're ready for it, this is the kind of people you're looking for, the universe is going to go your way. The synchronicity are going to be insane. Yes. Manifestation is going to happen. But if you're not connecting to that meditative state, and what some people are like, well, I haven't meditated, but look, those people don't meditate and they're successful. What is it that they're doing? It's like, well, first of all, you don't know if they're not meditating. That you're not 24/7 with them, and they probably have a way of having a meditative state. But the most important thing is that they're connected to what they really love.
Yeah.
Period. Yes. And that's what they're striving to do. And they're very successful at it because they're connected, if they know it or not, to what they love. And I mean, most people are not connected to what they love, and they're living someone else's dream. Or they're thinking, oh, if I do this, they're chasing their dream. They're not connected to their inside love. They're on an agenda, and that can never work. You will always chase something, and you'll get frustration because it will never work. The dream is not coming from inside yourself. You're not becoming your dream. You're chasing your dream.
Right.
And when I first get to that concept, it was, first of all, I didn't understand it. Like, what do you mean the dream has come from you? What does that mean? But when you really take the opportunity of investing in yourself and trying and understanding that concept and having support and the tools to understand, that's when magic happens.
And I also want to mention too, like, it's not a matter of like attracting these new people and experiences. It's also a balance, because you have to let go. Going back to what we were talking about earlier, how do you expect to make room for these positive experiences, for this abundance to come into your life, if you're not willing to let go of the people and experiences that bring you bitterness? Like it's one of those things, like you have to make a choice.
I know.
Literally saying, this person, this job, this experience, this situation, I let it go. I distance myself, because I am now ready to bring in more abundance. And that is a psychological decision that you have to make for yourself.
Yes. But it's easier to say than done if you're not, if you don't go through certain steps before and you understand the purpose of forgiveness. You know, we say, oh, forgiveness. I remember one of my clients, and I know you will recognize himself when I say it, but when we got to the forgiveness week, it was like, no, not doing it. I have a plan. I have a plan to bring all those people that hurt me with me, and then I have a plan for making them pay. I'm like, oh, well, isn't that interesting? I was like, you cannot bring the people that hurt you with you and attain to your dream. Your dream, you're vibrating at this high on life vibration, and you bringing that resentment, that shame, that is slowing your train down.
Yep.
And you'll never get to your dream. And we had to do the week twice. Because it was like, nope. They're hurting me so much that I'm bringing them with me, and they're going to pay. And at the end, we're like, the only way for you to attain to your dream is to let go.
Yep.
But not only that, the biggest weapon you have is for you to shine as bright and to show them that they didn't stop you from living your dream. You got it. And the way you're going to be so bright, they're going to be like, wow, jealous, or that's how you're going to make them pay, is to see you so successful and so happy. And it was a process. It was a process. It was hard for me too to get through the forgiveness week, because I
think it is
I'm a Scorpio,
hard.
you know. It's like
it is hard. Like it's not easy, especially when you're learning something new. Before we wrap up this amazing episode, I do want to share my dream.
Yes, please.
So this was let's see here, exercise 2, lesson 5, exercise 3
of
the ocean of life.
Version 1 or version 2 of the DreamBuilder?
2.
Ooh, okay.
Yes. I deserve and receive my dream of being a millionaire who has multiple properties, travels the world, and creates meaningful art, because I am an infinite being. And through my story of struggle, I want women and people to see they also can attain their dream. We can all win, and we all deserve to win and succeed in this life.
Yes. And I know that dream gives you life.
It really does. And I say that to all my listeners. Thank you so much for supporting me and my journey with the MíraLA podcast. And thank you, Virginie, for also believing me and supporting me. You have just been a beacon of a light in my life. And it's so nice to recognize the light that we have in each other.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure. Anytime, anything you need, I'm always here for you. And it's so beautiful to see your dream, to hear your dream again. And yeah, if you're a listener and you have a dream and you need help bringing it out to life, you know where to find us.
In the show notes.
In the show notes, or go for mydream.com also, or infiniteinner.com, and follow us on Instagram at infiniteinner_, and you'll see our next workshop. Or on Arianna, we'll talk about the next workshops coming up. But once a month for sure, you can find our community and get your dream come true.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the MíraLA podcast. If you are a woman and would like to be on the show, go to MíraLaPodcast.com. Follow us on socials at MíraLA Podcast, use hashtag MíraLA Mondays, And if you want to support the show, subscribe, share with your amigos, and tune in for new episodes every Monday. Muchas gracias.